Hello, progressive women, and welcome to our space for women like you and I, women who are progressive, women who are in our prime, are unblocking, realigning, and progressing our deepest desired lives that we love. And we are doing this by encouraging it imperfectly. Our motto here is we keep progressing imperfectly to our deepest desired lives that we love. And I want to tell you, it's very cold here in Nairobi this morning. And so I am holding on to my hot cup of tea. And I hope that you get yours too, if where you are is cold. And today I thought about this clarion call we keep hearing about, which is use your voice, speak up, speak out, make sure that you make your voice heard. And I thought to myself, yes, we keep talking about it. Use your voice, find your voice and use it. What does it actually mean? But if you are someone who speaks, because I don't want to assume that everybody in this community is able to speak, but if you're one person who speaks, then you must say, you say, but what? I speak all the time. I'm chatting all the time. In fact, I just can't seem to keep quiet. That could be the issue. But why then am I being asked to find my voice and use it? And I thought that's an important conversation to have for us, the progressive women. And so in this part one of our video or of our YouTube, I'm going to be talking about where does a woman lose her voice? Then in part two of our conversation, I'm going to talk about how do you find your voice and how do you use your voice. Finding something is one thing, but how you use it, how you utilize it is another thing altogether. So we shall be learning that in part two of this video, because I don't want it to be too long. So let's start our conversation by me asking you and requesting you to please subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And the other thing is this: please don't keep us a secret. You have found the community, you have joined the community. Invite other women who are in their prime and say to them, hey, progressive woman, you need to join the other community of progressive women where progressive conversations are happening. So share this video and so that others may join the community. And also remember, there is a deeper conversation that I have. And that deeper conversation is via weekly emails that I call Soul and Wine. For you to receive that Soul and Wine, what you need to do is Soul and Wine, and here I'm drinking tea. What you need to do is go to my website, laimanibidali.com, and whilst there, leave your name and your email address, and you'll be added to the Soul and Wine community. You become an LB Insider, where you'll be able to receive our weekly emails. With that, let's dive right into this conversation about our voice and how we lose our voice. The first place we lose our voice, and to lose our voice means that we are unable to articulate ourselves in places, spaces, and conversations where we matter or where there's a lot at stake. Think about it. You can be this articulate woman, but when it comes to the privacy of your intimate space, in your intimate relationships, you find yourself holding your tongue, biting your tongue until it's bleeding. Or you could be this articulate woman, but when it comes to you expressing yourself in a matter regarding your pay rise, in a matter regarding your promotion, in a matter regarding how you're performing your performance, you find yourself almost breaking into tears. Where did you lose that voice that's unable to come through for you in moments where you need it most? The first place I think women lost their voice is in their early childhood. We were raised to be told to shut up, sit down, speak only when you're spoken to. And most of us have not come to the realization that now you are a mature adult and you don't have to shut up, sit down, and speak only when you're spoken to. You can also be the one who raises your hand or lifts up your arguments or lifts up your point of view and says, I have something to say. So most of us are still sitting nicely and neatly as that little young girl who wanted to be a good girl, who was supposed to keep quiet and shut up and not say anything. Then later on, we went to school. And in school, we had a noisemakers list. And so we tried to be good girls to not get on the noisemakers list. And we learned how to be, what was rewarded and what was applauded was you being quiet. Being a quiet girl was translated to being a nice girl. And so we learned how to be nice girls who just keep quiet, who don't voice their concerns, who are well behaved. And so we are still those young girls who are trying in the world, in the corporate world, and in the places of work and in boardrooms, trying to be nice, polite girls, only to realize that that is no longer rewarded. You will be quickly passed on by. And it doesn't mean that you're going to be disrespectful in expressing yourself. She'll talk about that. But you need to press that button that told you that being that way is going to be nice and it's going to get you some merits. It doesn't work that way in the real world. The other place where we lost our voice for some people here is that you may have grown up in a violent environment where maybe your parents quarreled a lot, and so you felt a sense of helplessness. So what you needed to do, what you did in order to survive, was to cover your head with your pillow or with your blanket so that you don't hear that noise and just stay quiet and just remain completely quiet. And so most of us have not come back and unmuted that button because we stayed and remained mute. For some women, they have gone through sexual abuse. And sexual abuse, most sexual abusers normally tell their prey or the people they are praying at, they say to them, remain shush, be quiet, because if you don't remain quiet, I'll come and take out your tongue or something like that. So we were traumatized by that experience, and that caused, and we were unable to express ourselves, didn't even have the words, and didn't even know who to tell. And because of that, we went mute. And therefore, in matters, violations that matter most to us, we have learned how to remain mute. Then, later on, when we went to school and in our growing up, in our young adulthood, we learned about being shunned and being mocked because of what you said in class, being bullied. And because of that bullying, some of us learned that the best way to survive here is to just remain quiet. Because maybe every time we opened our mouth and when we spoke, we had accents that were laughed at and scorned, and we became the laughingstock of the class. And so we learned that the best thing to do is just be quiet and maybe express ourselves in paper. Then we became adults, and as young women, we were raised by the different institutions, including the church, to be told that a good woman is one who is quiet and who remains submissive in all situations and under all circumstances. And so therefore we misconstrued that to mean that for us to be good Christian women, we had to be quiet. We had to be people who don't speak up and who don't speak out. And so we remained quiet. And then we went to our workplaces, and any woman who expressed herself was called insults and called names. She was deemed or seen to be too aggressive and too abrasive. And therefore, because we wanted to be the nice ones, we learned how to remain quiet so that we're not as abrasive. And then we were called doormats. And then we didn't even know whether we should keep quiet or express ourselves. And so most of us are just sitting there at the fence. We find ourselves being able to express ourselves in some situations, maybe when you're making a presentation where there's no threat or where the stakes are not as high. But when it comes to matters that matter to us, matters of personal importance, we find ourselves completely gagged and unable to speak up and to speak out. And unfortunately for some women, when they try to express themselves, even in their marriages or in their personal, intimate relationships, if they are married, they were beaten, they were slapped to be silenced. And so because they don't want to go through that shock and experience again, they have learned how to bite their tongues. And for those who are dating, when they express something that affected them, that mattered to them, or they were disgruntled or uncomfortable about, The person left and walked away. So what they learned from that is that if I express myself, the person will leave me. What is it that could have taken away your voice? Which of these examples do you identify with? I would really like to hear from you. Why don't you send me an email, nena@laimanibidali.com. Or if you don't remember that email, just go to www.laimanibidali.com and you can send us an email using the comments section in that landing page. Okay? So I will come to part 2 later. But remember this, that everything that you have been through, every experience, every rise and every fall has prepared you for your next chapter. What you need to do is to start where you are and keep progressing imperfectly, because you, my dear sister, are a bold, blessed woman.